Mad Munchkin Reaction Theatre. Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph breaks the internet. I am finding it very difficult to trust movie trailers these days. Movie and video game trailers are meant to give you an authentic, abbreviated sample of the full movie, a few minutes of selected clips that give the viewer an idea of what to expect when heading to the theatre. Trailers are complimentary tasters and garner a lot of attention, both positive and negative, constructively critical and negatively pedantic. And yeah, I'm very, very guilty of being pedantic and obsessive over things that really should not matter, especially when it comes to how this movie was advertised. Nowadays, trailers seem to mislead and misdirect the audience with edited clips or deleted scenes that don't end up in the final product at all. Or some scenes are fabricated purely to pad out the trailer to get more of a reaction. Is it deliberate? Well, in most cases, probably not, since movie trailers are cobbled together while the movie itself is still being edited. However, when you have a clip of Merida, for example, from Pixar's Brave, saying one line in the trailer and then have her say something entirely different in the final cut, it kind of makes the whole joke of she's from the other studio feel even more of an insult to Scottish culture. It's a joke, quote unquote, does not cut it. Would you say the same thing if it were Mulan speaking Chinese instead of English, or Elsa speaking Norwegian instead? No, there would be an uproar. You can make the joke that Merida is from Pixar, but go for a character trait instead of her nationality. I have said it before and I'll say it again. Nationalities are not character traits. My personal feelings of that scene aside, since I feel like I have complained about that enough already and I don't want to sound like a broken record and everyone is sick and tired of me ranting about it and saying that I am far too sensitive and can't take a joke, which is true, but you should all know by now I am a pedantic and pathetic nerd who still watches cartoons at the age of 32, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. How do I feel about the movie itself? Ralph Breaks the Internet is a movie that has taken a pretty simple and familiar premise, much like its predecessor. Does it do anything new with the premise of what if, insert blank here, was alive, other than expand it from within the confines of the arcade walls to the never-ending expanse of the World Wide Web? Other than placing the characters in a new environment? Not really. It feels like a retread that relies too heavily on familiar Disney formulas, as well as cameos. Endless cameos. The tired old story of a character wanting more out of life and being unsatisfied with their lot. Yeah, we've heard all this before. The story isn't so much about Vanellope wanting to leave her game, but more about how Ralph handles having to let Vanellope live her dream, even if that means letting her go. The main problem in this movie is it's trying to do too much. The story is simple, even though it is a retread, but the environment interferes with it big time. It tackles issues that make the movie needlessly dark, and sadly, this makes it very difficult to watch. Ralph's insecurity, Vanellope's anxiety. Geez, there's not one character with a level head in this movie to balance things out. At least the first movie had the reliable Felix for us to cling to, but even he is having a nervous breakdown in this movie. It's an inert mashup of memes, brands, avatars, and jokes that not only will date the movie in the long run, but also makes me really confused as to when exactly this movie is set. A movie that relies far too much on cameos, nerd culture, etc., to stand on its own 2 feet. I'm sorry, but this was a big disappointment to me. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative.